Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video, and I hope you guys are all hyped up. You know why? Well, because I just recorded an entire episode with my microphone off. Ooh. You hate to see it, you hate to see it, you hate to see it, but that's the way that things go, alright? So, yeah, I hate myself today. Alright. XRP price doing pretty interesting. Right now, our XRP long position is still doing quite splendidly. We just saw another double bottom, which was lower than the previous double bottom, which we found. However, both of these were fine trades to take. And that's one key that a lot of people don't know or realized from my previous video. In my previous video throughout the end, I kind of started talking about why I take some sort of trades and why I sometimes take trades for the short term. Here specifically is a good example of why it can really benefit to sometimes take a trade for the short term. So what happened, right? We're seeing an opportunity, a double bottom right here. I can now either not take it or try. And the thing is, guys, if you have proper risk management, trying these opportunities consecutively usually ends up quite nicely as long as you have an idea of what you're doing. If you're buying or selling on Bybit without any idea of what you're doing, you're most likely going to lose money. And that's also why some people tell me to not talk anymore about Bybit. Because they keep saying, Dusty, it is so easy to lose money. Dusty, I just got liquidated. Or a friend of mine just got liquidated, which basically means losing the money that you put in. And I'm going to tell you, it is possible. If you don't know what you're doing, be careful. But that's why I made a guide. And I'll surely, pretty soon here, make another guide so that people understand it. Because if you have the power of leverage and you use it to your best ability, guys, it is so much simpler to make a ton of money than to do it in the normal fashion without leverage. I tell you the facts. If you know how to trade with leverage, a world opens to you. And right now, there are more than $3,000 worth of bonuses. I kind of feel like a salesman. Not it. Right? You don't do this for me. This is for you. I literally think that some people can make $1 million or even more, theoretically speaking, right? Off of this free bonus. And again, there's a catch. It's a deposit bonus, which basically means if you deposit money, you get a bonus for it. And you cannot withdraw money until your bonus, you've used that, and you kind of have to spin it around a little bit, where you use your bonus to make money, and then the money becomes real, kind of, right? Now, $3,650 can be used as more than $150,000 worth of trading money, though, which is why I'm telling you guys, literally, this could be one of the greatest opportunities, and it's right in front of you. And again, there's no real big risk, so yeah, that's why. All right, let's move on to some news, though. Gold Telegraph just posted, if you compare commodity prices to the Dow Jones Industrials, we have not been this cheap in 120 years. Interest rates have not been this low in 5,000 years. Junk bond yields are below the rate of inflation, and digital rocks are being sold for over $1 million. Markets are broken. I'm not exactly sure how he got to this interest rate 5,000 year thing. I'm not even sure what I think about this entire part, by the way, but let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this statement. I would say the market which we currently have is indeed strange. We have one of the craziest inflations ever. The market is doing really amazing and people are really in an ecstatic sort of phase. Yet, if you really look at what should have happened to the market, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Because, well, I know more people that are really struggling financially now than I knew a couple of years ago. All because of the big, the pandemic. I don't want to say the word. Yet, it's not really being reflected in any of the market prices because, well, people are still making money. Yet, I guess it's because the rich get richer and crypto is popping off and things like that. But, the lower ranks not doing that good. And the markets usually should reflect that. That just people with their small businesses all got broke. Still, I would also say the market is odd right now, right? But is it due to crypto or is crypto a byproduct of it all? All right, then Robert Dobbs posted on Twitter. And I found it really interesting because, well, even though he's a person who follows a lot of people and thus has a lot of followers, that's a little bit less, cool than if you have a lot of followers without following people. Because, of course, this guy just follows people and they follow him back, right? So it's not as cool. But he says the whales are trying to get us out of the game. hold strong, and remove XRP from exchanges. Hashtag XRP. Little fun fact, at first I thought this guy was saying something really dumb and stupid. Then I read it again, I'm like, oh no. This guy is saying that there are whales out there who are trying to buy the XRP that you are holding right now. They're trying to take it away from you. And to be honest with you, it's not that stupid of a statement. It's not that crazy of an idea. Because yes, there are people trying their hardest every single day to write these little funny articles out there. They're trying their best to just go onto the interwebs and go, oh, this guy, please sell, your XRP is going to zero. Even in the comment section right now, I can already feel it. There's going to be a couple of people who say, XRP is going to zero and everybody is going to be losing money. Whew, that was nice. I wrote that down. Now let me go to a different channel to put some hatred on XRP. Why? I don't really know. Yet, you might say it's all a tactic. You might say it's just people who are sad. I don't really know. Yet, point being, if there were no exchanges, people couldn't sell their XP, right? No, obviously we'd want exchanges, and a lot of people ask me when I think Coinbase is coming back. I keep telling them, I don't know. Either a no action letter from the SEC, which is not going to happen, or a lawsuit settlement or resolvement. It's going to take time, though. It's going to take time. And I'm not even sure if exchanges relisting it would be a big boost. I think the lawsuit itself is going to be such a big boost to the XP price that exchanges relisting it might do crazy for the XP price because we're already in kind of a euphoric period. Or it might do nothing because the price is already so high up that people don't care about those exchanges anymore because they're rich. Let us see, let us see, let us see. And once more, guys, I firmly believe that XRP at settlement can reach like $7 at that crazy type of area. It's so mind-boggling to me. I tell people, guys, that XRP can literally turn $100,000 into $1 million this year still, or let's say within the next 12 months. And it's crazy to me how so many people are going to come up to me after the fact and say, oh, I should have just put some money in. And $100,000 is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. A lot of freaking money. Most people don't have that. But it's the idea that it's possible. It's also possible to turn $10,000 into $100,000. To turn $100 into $1,000. To turn 10 into $100. It's magic. If you think about the idea that you're putting some money into somewhere, you're just taking some of your hard-earned money. Let's say you worked an hour. You earned yourself $10. You're putting that into the XP machine, theoretically, and all of a sudden, a little while later, it's $1,000. Right? It's going to take a long time. But let's say short term, it's $100. For doing nothing, that means you got 9 hours of work for free in such a short time frame. If you get that into your mental, it's like, oh yeah, I should try it out. Now, guys, make sure you understand, I am not trying to kind of advertise XRP here as that you should buy it. I'm just saying what my mindset is right now. And once more, I am not affiliated in any shape, way, or form with Ripple or XRP. I don't get paid by them. I'm just a holder like all of you guys, or at least a large part of you guys. And ultimately, if the coin fails, we all fail together. If it does good, we all do good together. And that's the point I'm trying to make here. I think we'll all do good, though. I think so. And I think that XRP is going to be another ADA 2.0, where people all of a sudden are like, oh, so this coin can really do times 100 in a year, huh? Don't forget, guys, that I bought ADA 2020 at 2 or 3 cents. Right now, it is at $3. I got a 150 times return in 1 year. People say it's not possible. And they're now shouting that XRP going times 10 is impossible. It isn't. It isn't. It isn't. It is breaking my mind, all right? And I think this also has to do with the fact that I just recorded an entire episode and it got deleted on me. But understand, it is not impossible. Gains are gonna be coming. Oh, all right. So Santiago Velez said over on Twitter, beware absolutes, there is rarely truth therein. Does anyone know anything in life that's precisely zero chance, like even spider pig death taxes? All right. So there was a little bit of discussion earlier about Bitcoin and it's a long story, all right? But let's kind of dive a little bit into here. So David Schwartz said Bitcoin, the payment system, or Bitcoin, the currency, as a reply to Arturo Portilla, who said, I do. There's precisely zero chance that Bitcoin will work as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, which is interesting. Now, a sucker came in and said Bitcoin hard to be payment system because too slow and expensive. And it can't be currency because of the limited supply. So what if it fails to become store of value, as they said? And David said, the supply is only limited in the payment system. It is possible to create any number of derivatives that track the value of a Bitcoin such that many market participants are indifferent to whether they get a Bitcoin on the blockchain or that derivative. This is done with fiat currencies all the time, which which is true. And theoretically speaking, guys, we can also deviate from the current Bitcoin system. People saying that because something is limited, there's a limited amount of Bitcoin, there's no liquidity or something like that is pretty stupid, because that makes no sense. There's an infinite amount of things which you could do with a limited supply. That theoretically speaking would only need to be one Bitcoin, or not even one, even less, just let's say 0 point something, to be able to have an ecosystem. Because, well, first of all, the value of that can change, and as long as it's divisible, right now Bitcoin is $50,000. The smallest part of Bitcoin is so small, it'll be fine. You don't need more than that. And the fact that we can actually bundle things together, we can actually make some sort of derivatives where you, for example, theoretically speaking, have 1/100th of the smallest part of a Bitcoin. If Bitcoin, for example, goes to $1 billion a pop, even the smallest part of a Bitcoin might become kind of expensive, right? Because one Bitcoin can be split up into Satoshi, which are 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. So at 1 billion, that might still be a little bit annoying because it's still going to be $10, I think. Yeah, at $1 billion, 100 million times 10 is a billion, right? So yeah, that sounds logical to me. So the smallest part of Bitcoin is still going to be $10, and so that might be annoying if you want to buy some small things. We can, however, think of some new derivatives which are going to kind of track the value of 1/10 of that, or even 1/100th of that, and so forth and so on. It's possible. Now, Arturo said, currency derivatives are merely used for speculational purposes, though good luck finding a merchant that takes currency derivatives as payment, I guess. And David says, why would some merchants care whether they got a Bitcoin on the blockchain or a derivatives whose value track the value of a Bitcoin on a blockchain? I mean, obviously you'd be indifferent because right now people buying Bitcoin and stuff like that on Webull or PayPal or what's the big one? The freaking that everybody talks about with Dogecoin right now. Robinhood. You're all buying a sort of a derivative, right? Because you don't get the actual keys. You don't know if it's actually stored on the blockchain literally right now, the money that you've gotten or not. They might even prefer the derivative if it was cheaper and faster to transfer or came with legal recourse if lost or mishandled. Andrew says, interesting take. You mean, example, as an IOU on the XP Ledger? And he said, I didn't want to turn this into a conversation about XP Ledger, but yes, that's the idea. Perceived limitations of the Bitcoin blockchain are limitations of Bitcoin as a currency. And that's one thing I should tell you. I am not anti-Bitcoin. I will tell you that I think XRP is better in a lot of ways, shapes, or forms. And the Bitcoin has failed for a large part as just being a nice payment currency. But it's not completely dumb. There's a couple of use cases for it. And if people really want to make it work, it can work. But XRP is just a lot easier, I would say, and a lot better for the purpose. Then Gary Gensler. We've just put out a request for comment on digital engagement practices. And by the way, guys, if you're watching this far into the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And maybe, guys, maybe you would also be able to share it for me over on Twitter. I already saw that about 65, if not more, % of you guys are already subscribed. So me shouting that you should subscribe has no use, all right? By the way, it's not for me that you subscribe. It is for you, so you get a notification every time we upload something, which I think is a smart thing to do. But we've just put out a request for comment on digital engagement practices like gamification and robo-advising. We'd love to hear how you use these tools and what you like to see at the SEC. Watch this week's office hours. And I kind of wonder why they're doing that with some stuff, yet when it comes to crypto, they're like, meh, meh. Also, another thing, which I guess they're talking about here, which I also found an interesting point, was remove the accredited investor designation and let average people invest in pre-IPO companies. You don't care if they spent their money on drinking, lotto, cigarettes, gambling, or designer shoes, so don't tell us it's to protect them. Equal opportunity investing for all. A little fun fact, if you want to buy Ripple stock, it's possible, but you need a valuation of $1 million or more, or be an accredited investor who earns $200,000 a year on your own for the last 2 years in expectation of future, or $300,000 if you and your wife together, basically. And it's a pretty interesting suggestion, because I sometimes think about that too. It's like, for a lot of the people, like, a lot of the guys you watch right now, for example, who have been in the crypto space for a little while, it's not that difficult because you're automatically a accredited investor if you have a net worth of over $1 million or you have an income of $200,000. And for a lot of people in the crypto space, it's not that hard, because if you've been in crypto for a little while, your pockets might be filled a little bit, so okay. But for a lot of people who got in just now or are trying to get into this investing game and who are trying to buy Ripple stock, for example, now, who just started out, they only have, for example, I don't know, $10,000 to their name. Yeah, maybe they wanted to buy into a pre-IPO company, but they can't. I think it's kind of strange, right? Because maybe these people are as stupid as investing, but one just got lucky, yet one has better opportunity now than the other, just because he got lucky on one strike, if you guys get my drift. So let me say it differently. I get into crypto in 2011, let's say. I got $100 million to my name. You got into crypto in 2021. You got, $10 $10,000 to your name. I started out with $100. You started out with 10,000. You might have worked a lot harder for that money. You might have made a lot of financial smart choices. I just got lucky. Could be, right? And it could be that you're financially, investing-wise, way more competent than I am, yet I am allowed to invest because I have money and you're not. It's kind of a stupid system if you think about it, right? But that's the way that things go. And then there was another discussion right here, which we'll get to a little bit later, all right? We'll talk about that a little bit later. I wanted to say yesterday that Jeremy Hogue was making a video, but we'll cover the entire video a little bit later. And then $2.1 billion in Bitcoin transferred by crypto whales. I'll also talk about that a little bit more on my 5-minute crypto channel, because people often make really big assumptions and really big claims with this type of stuff when ultimately it doesn't mean anything. And talking about these prices, guys, once more, realize for yourself that we're still at low prices. ADA right now being at $2.86 is still low. XP being at $1.13 is still low. And every time I look back at when I started talking about crypto, it's all the way back somewhere in the depths. If you kind of consider that for yourself, just consider how lucky you are to still be here early, because every single price point you see right now is most likely going to end up in exactly the same fashion. Let me reflect that upon you guys, right? If we kind of copy what we've seen just now, I really firmly believe that right in the future, it's just going to be another copy of this one right here, right? Where these peaks, which you're seeing right now, are just going to be merely history, and eventually we're going to be at, the next area up there, and 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 so forth and so on. It's just going to continue on with cycles and cycles and cycles. I firmly believe that. Just wanted to quickly make that clear. All right. But guys, that was it for today's video. If you haven't yet, make sure you check out Bybit, because there's $3,600 worth of bonus that you can get for free. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today.